FM. Thought-provoking, always smoking. Lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
Yeah, man, without a doubt, man, you listen to the cutting edge, man. I tell you, that this is not a radio program. You know that, don't it? This is an institution on radio.
Thought-provoking, always smoking. Lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
In over 2 decades, no, not over 2 decades, over a period of 70 years, they had molested 1,000 children. And the church was covering it up. Now a big guy in the church, one of the big bishop them, who was like next to the Pope, it was like him angle certain things on the Pope. Them find out say him was molesting children. And Pope Francis didn't know. But him never said nothing. So them now them are investigate Pope Francis now. I tell you, tomorrow news that, tomorrow news that. Them are investigate Pope Francis because it is said that him didn't know and never said nothing. It's like see I'm blind, hear and see it again. So we come around to the see I'm blind, hear and deaf. The see I'm blind, hear and deaf. Them say Pope Francis didn't know the things that are going on over a period of time with this bishop you saw, the bishop. I forgot what him cardinal or whatsoever them call themselves. And him never did I say nothing about it. So a guy bust upon him. One of the bishop they bust upon Pope Francis. This is a man who is a vicar of Christ, This is a man who, when him talk, some things when him say come from God. Some things when him say come from him. But the thing when him say come from God is law. And it is written down in the Catholic Church as law. Black people, even if you don't want to talk about rituals and all these things, because Africans have some very archaic laws and rituals. I bet I will deal with phone thing than go deal with them thing. Because what has their thing done to us? More than put it deeper and deeper in the quagmire of madness. That is where it is. So many ones come in the name. And then when them really reach a certain level, them realize about wait. This thing even the man when named Martin Luther King. Even Martin Luther King. And me I tell you say, me have a brethren we pass away. Me and him used to in a whole heap of argument. And even him, did I realize there's something wrong, man. Oh, me I say this thing, I realize that these people do have no sense. And he must know that because I talk to them every week. And then I realize about wait, something wrong. I said, all them people are reason so. It's like they can't move. Them opinion is full stop. They don't know say life is an ongoing revelation. And certain things reveal to you over and over, and you have to sieve it out. You can't just go on and go on like say, where you there is where is the definitive place. Not go so in life. And most younger people don't understand that. That's why them say experience teach wisdom. Knowledge is not wisdom. Knowledge is where you acquire through learning. Wisdom is where you acquire through experience. So when you have the knowledge of the thing, that's why you have a school where you have the theory and then you go in at the lab and you get the practical. The practical now lead you to an experience where you do certain things, A squared plus B squared, this, C, that, MX, this, that, and you come to an understanding and say this, if you mix up that and that, you're going to get that. But in the room, you theorize. The theory though must be the right thing. So knowledge is where you go to school if you acquire. But you have to use that knowledge now in your life experience. that make it sensible. And a whole heap of we not sensible. Because we are follow back how everybody and follow back everything. We are like the dog or the cow. You know, you put the dog in a pen or you tie the cow. And all when you let go the cow, go back to the same spot. So you never have a bother tie him up again. Just like the dog. The dog in this place so long that all when you open the gate, him go back in the place without even you tell him. So one of the time you can't leave all the gate open and him not go outside. I saw somewhere I move. The gate open. And then we are look for see if we can come out. Of course you can't come out, the gate open and like the gate close. And then somehow we close up our mind. And that is the tragedy. The tragedy. Black, white supremacy catch we so much now that we don't want to think. Not that we can't think, you know, we don't want to think for ourselves. We want somebody to think for we and then put it in our head and then we just move like zombie. They don't know where we're going or where we're coming from. The greatest weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. This is the Cutting Edge on IRFM, going through the pieces as we usually do. We want to play this to the people.
I'm bald, so here's the thing. I'm 53, and so racism is generational, meaning that racism has changed over the years from what it used to be in the 60s and the 70s, even in the 80s. Racism these days is more subtle. My concern, my fear, I have a 30-year-old son and a 24-year-old daughter. My concern for them is that this generation is angry, but this generation isn't getting together to collectively do something about the issue. So while my generation was about the awareness, you have to be aware, you have to go out there, you have to create the movement. We would sit in, sit out, stand up, stand out. This generation is like, well, I really don't need to do that because I can sit anywhere I want to. I can live anywhere I want to. I can go anywhere that I want to. This is the thing. The mentality of the individuals who practice racism has not changed. The only thing that's changed is the way in which they express it. Racism is something that is taught. You are taught, don't like that person because they're black. If you look at 2 little children, 3, 4, 5 children playing in a park, they want to play because they're all little kids. They get older and they're told, no, you can't do this. Timmy can't play with Jaquanda. It just doesn't happen. Chica, get out of the road. This is New York. So the issue is that this generation needs to recognize, even though you think you can live anywhere, you try moving into an all-white neighborhood where they really don't want you, the cross will come. They will still burn it. So it's not that we can truly live anywhere we want to. It's just that we have more areas that we can live. The reason that we're not as dedicated as a group to fighting the issue of racism is because before we were all subjected to live in one location, in one area. We supported each other in our black businesses. That's why you had black millionaires. What do we do now? We give other people our money. If all black people stop going to the movie theater, guess what? None of those movies that are hits would be hits. Why? Because ain't nobody go to the movies like black folks. We spend our money, but we don't go to see our movies. We go to see other people's movies. And so they say, since nobody goes to see black movies, and they go, we're not going to make any black movies. Back in the day when you could only go to the all-Negro theater, guess what? Everybody went. Everybody supported it. Now that we have choices, we've left our people behind. So my recommendation, my suggestion, my commitment, my prayer, my hope for your generation is love what you're doing, but you got to recognize that the power is in the numbers. The power is in doing it together. The power is in being a collective, cohesive unit, which we're not. Other races recognize that about us. And so from even a financial perspective of how we spend money, that's where the racism comes into play. They won't go into our stores, but they want our money.
They won't come into our neighborhoods, but they want us to spend money in their neighborhoods. They won't come into a black car dealership, but who are the ones who drive some of the very, very expensive cars? So it's not that we don't have the money. We just need to be educated about how we spend it, because we have more power than we realize. We just don't know how to utilize and wield that power. If black people, nobody else but black people, decided that they were going to stop for one day, a 24-hour period, to stop spending, they would be amazed at the impact they would have. But no matter how much black people get together and say they're going to do that, there's always somebody somewhere who is like, I'm going to go to that gas station anyway. I'm going to go to that place anyway. And that's why it doesn't change and it doesn't end. But make no mistake, racism in America is alive and well. It has not died. It has not changed. This experience that my daughter had 3 weeks ago in Stone Mountain shows me that there's a whole other generation of people out there proposing racism, supporting it. They truly believe in it. The next time you're in a mall and a white person bounces into you, see if they say sorry. They don't even see you. They don't know you're there. So it's not that they're being rude. Honestly, they don't see you. It's called being invisible. I'm not American. This has been an amazing experience for me, coming to this country as an adult, having children in a society that I don't know anything about, coming from a country where everybody is black and we don't refer to people by color. You have to learn how to adapt to this environment. My request of your generation is explore outside the boundaries of America, because what it is that you're trying to do, it may not necessarily survive here, but there are other places where you can truly live, be powerful, be wonderful, be free. But having to do that in America is going to take far, far more time, far more commitment, far more collective, cohesive movement than this place has ever been seen. And there aren't enough people who are aware of that to be able to do it together. But understand this, racism has not died and will never die if you know the history of America.
Yes, original Burning Spear music. You know, long time I look for that clip here, you know. I'm just find it back. Believe you me, I want to listen to this seriously, you know. This is one of the most serious clips you ever hear we play. I want you to listen to this. Seriously. Okay. Here we go now.
Absolutely staggering what you can get out of a
Yogurt.
pig. Yes, I have a list. Christian Mindersma wrote a book called Pig 05049, which is an anonymous pig. And beyond the obvious foodstuffs, she found different parts of this animal offered the following pork derivatives. From the skin alone, safety gloves, cosmetic surgery, collagen comes from pig skin, energy bars, which also have collagen in, low-fat butter, chewing gum, X-ray film, drug capsules, bread, flour improver made from pig hair, would you believe? Wow. Flour, I know. The skin is also used for tattoo practice. And ballistic gelatin. That's just the skin, and then there's the internal organs, pet food, tambourine skins are made from a pig's bladder. The old tambourine.
I knew those folkies were evil.
Yeah. Many thousands of people were alive because of the pig's valve from their heart. From the bones, cheap wine corks, would you believe? Stabilizing propellant in bullet making, inkjet paper, concrete, match heads, bone china, train brakes, yogurt, which you correctly mentioned.
What's a train brake? Like
it's
when you
stopping
go to
a train.
For the weekend.
For stopping it.
A trotter out. He just leans forward.
Fabric softener. Who knew? Beer, wine, ice cream. From the fat, biodiesel, soap, shampoos, crayons. From the blood, cigarette filters, amazingly. Toothpaste. And also paintbrushes. Chemical weapons testing. The ears are used in chemical weapons testing. Don't ask me why. I should hasten to add that not all toothpaste and not all yogurt contain it. But if you are a Muslim or Jewish, you've got a hell of a problem discovering what's got in it.
You have your work cut out.
You have your work cut out like a silhouettist. According to Bloomberg, there are 42 major areas of manufacturing that entirely rely on pork products. It's quite astonishing what that one animal can do. That is the only farmyard animal, if you discount truffle hunting, that is only useful when dead.
Wow. Okay. So, for those of you who really miss what we're going on, so is the man explain to you all the different products that pig, whether the skin or the internal organs, a whole heap of different products is made from pig. And him still not call out a whole heap of them still, you know. Because I can't tell you about some too, but the Jews, Muslim, Rasta, you know, a whole heap of ones kind of want to shun away from the pig. And a matter of fact, we see some man have on some shoes were definitely pigskin. Definitely pigskin. Definitely pigskin. Very popular shoes were pigskin. And we see a whole heap of people have it on who, well, I'm not talking about a whole heap of people, you know, Rasta. It's ignorance, so you don't have it, so you have it on because you don't know. So we're going to make you know now and see what's going to happen. So we're going to play it again. Because we need to hear exactly where we get ourselves into, because them have way. And I laugh to, you know, say, yeah, man, you hear them talk about them now, this and pig, that. And look there. Them I use it in them toothpaste. I wash them out every morning. And I wear it. All right, so make we go it again. Make we play it again.
Absolutely staggering what you can get out of a
Yogurt.
pig. Yes, I have a list. Christian Mindersma wrote a book called Pig 05049, which is an anonymous pig. And beyond the obvious foodstuffs, she found different parts of this animal offered the following pork derivatives. From the skin alone, safety gloves, cosmetic surgery, collagen comes from pigskin, energy bars, which also have collagen in, low-fat butter, chewing gum, X-ray film, drug capsules, bread, flour improver made from pig hair, would you believe? Flour around it. The skin is also used for tattoo practice. And ballistic gelatin. That's just the skin. And then there's the internal organs, pet food, tambourine skins are made from a pig's bladder. The old tambourine.
I knew those folkies were evil.
Yeah. Many thousands of people are alive because of a pig's valve from their heart. From the bones, cheap wine corks, would you believe? Stabilizing propellant and bullet making, inkjet paper, concrete, match heads, bone china, train brakes, yogurt, which you correctly mentioned.
What's a train brake? Like
it's
where you
stopping a train.
for the
for stopping it.
A trotter out. He just leans forward.
Fabric softener. Who knew? Beer, wine, ice cream. From the fat, biodiesel, soap, shampoos, crayons. From the blood, cigarette filters, amazingly. Toothpaste. And also paintbrushes. Chemical weapons testing. The ears are used in chemical weapons testing. Don't ask me why. I should hasten to add that not all toothpaste and not all yogurt contain it. But if you are a Muslim or Jewish, you've got a hell of a problem discovering what's got pig in it.
You have your work cut out.
You have your work cut out like a silhouettist. According to Bloomberg, there are 42 major areas of manufacturing that entirely rely on pork products. It's quite astonishing what that one animal can do. It's the only farmyard animal, if you discount truffle hunting, that is only useful when dead.
Black is beautiful. And we can't stop the narrative there. Because there's some people who would want us to say, just like when they have Black Lives Matter, the counteraction to that is All Life Matter. I mean, really. Where they don't know, say All Life Matter. But in the narrative, when you look on the people them who police are shoot down in America, the reason why it come up is because a lot of youth was being shot. A whole heap of black youth was shot down in America. And the people them who know that All Life Matter is trying to say, yeah, Black Lives Matter too, so Black Lives Matter. But we hear some little idiot black people come up now and say, All Life Matter. Of course, All Life Matter. All the cow where you eat, All Life Matter. You can imagine the cow them a ball. Yes, so that about people, they want to be. All the goat them. Goat them a ball out. So want to, not about All Life Matter. A people life, not they will have life too. A serious thing. So we have to watch it. How them paint the picture. Whole heap of the things them where we take just like that without question it. Like see no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil. And then you have a man tell you, say, where I no see art no leap. It happen though. You could have shut your eye, it happen. I no see it, but the art leap because when you open your eye and see it or hear it, you know there's something wrong. Anyway, the time is 12 o'clock in Jamaica. Yeah, this is the Cutting Edge on RFM. We're there with you.
Africans to seek to regain their independence from the colonial masters. Historians will remind us that we were first enslaved, that Africans were taken, and this we seldom say. The first civilization to take Africans out of this continent were the Arabs. And they took Africans from the eastern coast. And it is sad that in that part of the world, there are not many Africans who remained, because it was in the business of the Arab enslaver to castrate Africans. We never say that, but we must say it because it is historically significant. Then the Europeans came, the Portuguese came, the Spaniards came, the Germans came, the French came, the Belgians came. Africa became the hunting ground for the European colonizers, and we were the spot. We built, our ancestors built the United States of America. Our ancestors built Europe. And when slavery had lost its shine and sheen, the Europeans abolished it. But they replaced it with yet another pernicious enterprise, the colonization of Africa. The Europeans sat in Berlin, in Germany, in 1884, and they looked at the map of Africa and parceled it out. The British had their share. The Germans had their share, and Tanzania or Tanganyika was their share, as was Rwanda and Burundi. The Spaniards were Johnny-come-latelys in the arena, and they got little Equatorial Guinea and Southwest Africa. The French were here, the Portuguese were here, and we were colonized. This time round, they did not take us away. They came here, and they controlled us, and they told us, not in so many words, that we were children of a lesser God. And we were treated as if we were children of a lesser God. In fact, they told us that on the day of creation, we were merely hewers of wood and drawers of water. And if anybody were to doubt it in 1948, it was more blatant when Hendrik Verwoerd instituted the apartheid regime in South Africa. But yet there is a sense in which the God that we worship never sleeps. The colonial enterprise ran its course, and the European tribes, the Europeans never called themselves tribes, they called them nations, were engaged in a war. First in 1918, the European tribes fought, and they had something called the League of Nations, which died. Then they fought again in 1945. And what is unique about the European nations is that when they are engaged in tribal wars, they call them world wars. So there was another war between 1945, 1939 and 1945. And after that, a new kid on the block, the United States of America, took the lead in saying that colonialism was something that was undesirable. But at that time, Africans were never quiet. Those who had been taken out had already started agitating. Many of us here will remember Marcus Garvey, of whom Bob Marley says, Garvey was a buffalo soldier in the heart of America. And many of us will remember W.E.B. Du Bois. Many of us will remember that they started agitating that Africans must regain their dignity and their independence. And indeed, in 1847, in Liberia, a small group of Africans were brought back in Monrovia, and Liberia became the first independent black nation in the continent of Africa. So soon thereafter, in Sierra Leone, they also created yet another colony. But Africa was colonized, except Ethiopia, which they tried to take in 1938 and exiled Professor Dr. Haile Selassie. And unfortunately, they were defeated, as you remember, in the Battle of Adwa. Africa can defeat European tribes. This history is necessary that we are able to appreciate the freedom that we gained. So that Garvey came, W.E.B. Du Bois came, but there was another crop after the 1940s who had had the advantage of European education. And there were people in Europe also who are beginning to recognize that indeed equality was necessary. And this was not anything new. In 1776 in the United States of America, the American state sitting in Philadelphia in the United States of America declared unto themselves that all men are born equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. A few years later in France, after the revolution, they also recognized that we were to be equal, so that the colonized nations which had now taken Africans thought that they were safe. They had taken Leopold Sédar Senghor from Senegal to Paris, and they thought that they were creating a little Frenchman. Little did they know that they were creating somebody who would want to overthrow them. They took Félix Houphouët-Boigny from Côte d'Ivoire, and they thought that they were creating somebody who would be subservient to them. They took Ahmed Sékou Touré and Modibo Keïta, and they thought they were safe. Little did they know that they were creating the future leaders and agitators against French colonization. And it did not stop there. The Portuguese also took Agostinho Neto and Amilcar Cabral and Eduardo Mondlane to Lisbon. Little did they know that those individuals would be the catalyst that would be necessary in the process of decolonization. The British also had their fair share. They took others. They took Mwalimu Kambarage Nyerere, Hastings Kamuzu Banda, Kenneth David Kaunda, and many others to the United Kingdom, Jomo Kenyatta. Little did they know that those would be the individuals who sometimes later, and in Ghana, of course, they took the Osagefo, Kwame Nkrumah, and in Nigeria, they took Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, and Sir Ahmadu Bello, the Sultan of Sokoto. There is a sense, therefore, in which these individuals started recognizing that having been enslaved, having been colonized, we now had to liberate ourselves. And the agitation started. And Kwame Nkrumah and his Ghana acquired independence in 1957. And I still can hear Kwame Nkrumah through the vicissitudes of time saying in Accra, Ghana, that Ghana is free and will never be colonized again. But the freedom of Ghana means nothing if the rest of Africa is not free. I can hear...
Yes. The freedom of Africa They say if one man is free and the others are not free, no man can truly say that he's free. Because the freedom of one is dependent on the freedom of all. And we're not going to stop. We're not going to stop. No way. So, we want to play this one. This one is kind of disturbing. It's very disturbing. So, but we still going to play it because you need to be disturbed. You need to be disturbed. Okay, here goes. This man have a museum there, man. It's unbelievable. One of the time I try to figure out, suppose he must sell it, if we could have find some money for buy it and bring it come to Jamaica. But we start to hold like a museum still, but may I tell you, horrible, using the babies as bait for the alligators. Black babies. They think them easy. And enough things we don't know. Enough things we don't know where used to happen. If only we knew what we knew now, if we only knew it then. But you say, we don't know, say, what we know now is movement. Movement. We have to move. We have to move with state of consciousness. We have to move with state of spirituality. And we have to define it in ourselves. See, what we know then and what we know now, we should be able to liberate ourselves and free ourselves. But some of we are going like we are idiot. Yeah, man. Some of we really are going like we are idiot. How long? How long? Yes, you know, so we're going to take some phone calls. So if you want to call and talk with it on your mind, now is the time to do it. What will you have a play so now? Okay. Yeah. We don't know which one we're there, you know. All right, make us see where we're going so now. We have to find where we're going to play seriously. Wait there. All right. Make us start with this first before somebody call. All right. Line it up.
For several years, the Israeli government was forcibly administering birth control to a segment of its minority population, with doctors injecting Ethiopian Jewish women against their will with a contraceptive, Depo-Provera. But it wasn't until this January that a government official finally acknowledged it. One investigative journalist who interviewed 35 Ethiopian immigrants found that they were being intimidated and threatened into taking the shots, while being told that they were merely inoculations. But many speculate it was all part of a deliberate attempt to restrict an expanding minority in the country. You see, over the last 2 decades, Israel has experienced a significant influx of Ethiopian immigrants. They're now being close to 130,000 living in the country. And while the government has finally put an end to this inhumane, insane population control tactic, the story has shed a light on a dangerous contraceptive that's now being pushed and administered on women of color all over the world, including right here in the U.S. So here to talk about the use of Depo-Provera and how this is targeting minority populations in both here and abroad, I'm joined now by Randy Short, President and National Spokesperson for the Anti-Depo-Provera Clergy Coalition. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So Israel allegedly put this to an end. Can you talk about what you know about the health effects, though? Because obviously women were being administered this for years without knowing about them.
Well, the drug was first patented in 1959. By the middle 60s, there were a lot of unethical experimentations done, in particular the Grady Clinic study in Georgia on poor black and poor white women. God knows how many people died. This drug did not get approved until 1993-94, but during that time that was used on women all over. The effects of it are serious. Excessive bleeding, osteoporosis, breast cancer, cervical cancer, heart attack, stroke, ectopic pregnancies, excessive weight gain, which can lead to type 1 or 2 diabetes, short or long-term infertility, maternal death. It strips the epithelium, the inner part of the woman's womb, making her more susceptible to all STIs and STDs. Therefore, doubling the chances of getting HIV, AIDS, chlamydia, HPV, gonorrhea, or syphilis. And there are other things that bothers the mental health. One of the things that's come to us, that the group that I work with, the Rebecca Project, is that many women are telling us that they've had mental problems. The FDA in 2004 was so concerned about the dangerous nature of Depo-Provera that they issued a black box warning, which is the most serious warning that can be issued by the FDA about how dangerous this drug is.
And despite this warning, this black box warning, it's still being administered under multiple agencies to multiple countries around the world.
Yes.
Who is administering it? Why? And where?
Well, it's being used primarily in non-white countries. So Muslim countries, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Burma, possibly on the Myanmar minority, all over Africa, Central America, and Latin America. And of course, in the United States, depending on whose information you look at, it's disproportionately used on African American women. Who's doing it? Planned Parenthood is one of the big purveyors of it. In addition to that, you have the Population Council, you have the International Federation of Planned Parenthood, you have a lot of persons and groups that have a Malthusian view that there are too many people, and therefore they want to reduce the population. They know this drug is deadly, it's cheap, and it makes huge profits for the parent maker, which is Pfizer.
And USAID is also one of the agencies as well.
For 47 years, it's been an unofficial policy of the USAID Office on Population to use or to send abroad dangerous, unsafe, untested, or unapproved drugs. And
you said that this is being obviously disproportionately affecting minority populations.
Yes.
If they know that it's deadly, why would they be administering it to minority populations? I mean, what is really this all about here?
There are too many non-white people. If you look at a gentleman by the name of Dr. Ravenholt, who was head of the USAID Office on Population from about 1966 until 1979, he was able to first convince President Johnson that it was in the national and commercial interests of the United States that 1/4 of the women in the developing world be sterilized. So there's some sense that if there are too many black or brown people, that somehow their needs will conflict with the capitalistic, imperialistic aims of the United States and its allies.
And there's been multiple lawsuits against Pfizer for the detrimental health effects from this drug, but they seem to be getting away with it and seem to keep, direct-to-consumer advertising. Well, how are they doing this?
Well, they're making a lot of money. The U.S. Department of Justice has sued them in the last 10 years and fined them about $6 billion. But if you're making billions and billions, it's the price of doing business. But you have to understand, the people that are being steered towards this drug are poor. They lack education and legal representation, and they're being tricked, so they don't know. Now, you have to understand, Pfizer lost in Canada. They've lost in Europe. But they go to countries where they can't be sued. You can't sue from Nigeria here. You can't sue from Mozambique here. So you can go to countries where you either have a corrupt government structure or they're coerced, or should I say they've constructively manipulated into having this drug as part of their international foreign aid. Do you see what I'm saying? So the women become just chess pieces in a Malthusian eugenics game.
And so you think this goes beyond just a corporation making as much money as it can, pushing it on as many people as it can. You think it actually goes down to, this is a modern day form of eugenics, I would say.
And genocide, yes.
And it's happening here in the U.S. as well.
Yes.
Well, that's very shocking, and we'll definitely follow up with this story. Very disturbing. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for your time. Randy Short, President, National Spokesperson.
And I'm with the Rebecca Project on Human Rights.
Absolutely.
All right,
thank you so much.
All right.
And that drug is in Jamaica. And when we talk, people say it's conspiracy. But look at what is going on now. Because when we talk about these bishops that is held in America, 301 of them for abusing over 70 years, 1,000 odd children, and that the highest level of the Roman Catholic Church knew about it but cover it up. And now we see them going they're investigating the Pope. May I tell you? We talk about news. Them investigating the Pope to cover up the abuse of the children them by these bishops. Unbelievable. Well, not unbelievable still, but you know them way there, things that come up to bump, and them kind of way there, it come. Things that come up to bump. So we continue, as we say, we'll take some call, and we'll play these things until we hear the call come in.
One thing that keeps me puzzled, despite having studied finance and economics at the world's best universities, the following question remains unanswered. Why is it that 5,000 units of our currency is worth 1 unit of your currency, where we are the ones with the actual gold reserves? It's quite evident that the aid is in fact not coming from the West to Africa, but from Africa to the Western world. The Western world depends on Africa in every possible way, since alternative resources are scarce out here. So how does the West ensure that the free aid keeps coming? By systematically destabilizing the wealthiest African nations and their systems, and all that backed by huge PR campaigns, leaving the entire world under the impression that Africa is poor and dying and merely surviving on the mercy of the West. Well done, Oxfam, UNICEF, Red Cross, Life Aid, and all the other organizations that continuously run multi-million-dollar advertisement campaigns depicting charity porn to sustain that image of Africa globally. Ad campaigns paid for by innocent people under the impression to help with their donations. While one hand gives under the flashing lights of cameras, the other takes in the shadows. We all know the dollar is worthless, while the euro is merely charged with German intellect and technology, and maybe some Italian pasta. How can one expect donations from nations that have so little? It's super sweet of you to come with your colored paper in exchange for our gold and diamonds. But instead, you should come empty-handed, filled with integrity and honor. We want to share with you our wealth and invite you to share with us. The perception is that a healthy and striving Africa would not disperse its resources as freely and cheaply, which is logical. Of course, it would instead sell its resources at world market prices, which in turn would destabilize and weaken Western economies, established on the post-colonial free meal system. Last year, the IMF reports that 6 out of 10 of the world's fastest growing economies are in Africa, measured by their GDP growth. The French Treasury, for example, is receiving about $500 billion year in, year out in foreign exchange reserves from African countries based on colonial debt they forced them to pay. Former French President Jacques Chirac stated in an interview recently that we have to be honest and acknowledge that a big part of the money in our banks comes precisely from the exploitation of the African continent. In 2008, he stated that without Africa, France will slide down in the rank of a third world power. This is what happens in the human world, the world we have created. Have you ever wondered how things work in nature? One would assume that in evolution the fittest survives. However, in nature, any species that is overhunting, overexploiting the resources they depend on as nourishment, natural selection would sooner or later take the predator out. Yes. Because it upsets the balance.
Serious reasoning. Serious reasoning. Yes, Ian.
Ian, Muta.
What you do, man?
Man, me I tell you, man, my ball. We grieve when me hear you play that alligator baby thing a while ago.
Me I tell you, man.
Me I tell you, Muta. And, you know, as you say, it's hard, it's tough, it's gruesome, but we have to play these things and let our people know these things. Because a lot of our people, them only hear what happened to European Jews and other people, but and when we want them to hear some of them, these things, them not want to hear about them things there. You know?
Yeah,
but these things, what you're doing, it have to be done to remind our people of these racist devils, as Malcolm X called them. You look at African babies you use as alligator bait. Yep. You know, you remember when we read Jacobins in Sailor James or in Haiti, them would have put gunpowder in the bottoms of our people and blow them up apart. And bury our African men, women and children in Haiti up to their neck and then put molasses and honey and make the ants devour the people.
The problem with it now is that we internalize it so much now that we start doing it to ourselves.
Yeah, the self-destruction, yes. Yeah. But we have to reverse. I tell you, don't stop playing them things there because I know all our people will be lost. And some of our people, when you do them things there, will be educated to remember who we are and what we go through. And so that we can say we will never make these things happen to we again.
Never again.
Because this is the education that we must draw from these things, is that we must not allow these things that happened to our ancestors in the past to happen to us again. And that anyone in our African race who perpetrate them kind of thing must be dealt with severely. And you and others know what I mean by that.
Yeah, to say, them deal with the youth them severely. Where supposed to rape the little girl from Kingston Technical there.
Man, it grieved me when Miss look and see our school, Kingston Technical,
Yeah,
and then burn her to get rid of the DNA evidence. That means that she know them, you know.
According to the news where I get you know that them kill one of them and the next one in a hospital a battle for life. So it's jungle justice reach them.
Yes. You know, the drunk of them, we do that, no, them worse than drunk is a good word, we do that, man.
No, we can't call them
them know the little girl, know them, and on a outer as would have said, come do that. And some cool some in the same area ends.
Well, they must show you the youth, them, you know. They must show you them in one clip that we have in front of me, you know. And they must show you one with them kill. And then apparently, him did not look upon a set at a DJ. Apparently, I can't do what I see, so apparently him did upon a set. And some DJ upon a set, and after him done, them just shoot him. And the next one, they're in hospital, a battle for life, according to this report.
One of them fit done with, man. Send the clip to me, see?
Yeah.
Send the clip to me. Next thing too, we just, the carnival just finished. Notting Hill. It started in 1965 on the streets of Nottingham Grove in Notting Hill Gate, West London. And despite the police and the other racists, them in a fight against it too, is an African-inspired thing from the Caribbean. It went well. That when you hear Scotland Yard, you know, the police them say, them hail the Notting Hill Carnival a safe and spectacular success. Seen? Right? Almost 2 million people come over the 2 days, and you know, every carnival Monday when I'm around, me play on Lord Gelly sound system, and again it went well, you know what I mean? So I'm glad. So when you hear Scotland Yard, who is part of the anti-carnival, you know, through the African thing, so it's a spectacular safe and spectacular thing, you must know. So, well done, and we just want to keep it same way. And I just want to say also, to big up Light Parks for brethren, you know, singer, songwriter, band leader, because spoke to him the other day and him telling me that in January, Mass Camp 2019 coming, they will celebrate at Mass Camp 44 years of the Light Parks and the We the People band, you know?
Yeah. We are going with Count Prince up in England there.
Right. Count Prince Miller, he passed away the same time, day, Thursday the 16th of August, same day as Lady Soul, our Empress, the favorite woman singer from States, Aretha Franklin, the same day, the 16th. He had been sick for quite a while, you know. And I knew that the last time I saw him was a few months ago when Andrew Onis, the Prime Minister, came and spoke at the cinema in Kilburn, over in Northwest London. And I saw him and him looked shaky, you know what I mean? But I knew that he was sick for quite some time, you know, cancer. 84 years old. And he came to this country in 1964 as part of the Jimmy James and the Vagabonds band. You remember the classic tune there? Come to me softly. Come to me softly. Yeah, man. Jimmy, I'm a brethren to one thing, man. So, from what I understand, there is going to be some memorial service, but it seems like there will be a cremation and them ashes, you know, remains in a GA and thing. But I'll keep you posted with that concern. And Count Prince Miller is a man who always proud to tell me same come from St. Mary. So big up all St. Mary people, you know?
All right.
Yes, you know? Yeah, man. And talking about reggae, 50 years of reggae this year, you know, I remember distinctly when the reggae dance, which is imitating Jackie Mittu's organ shuffle, September 1968, when we come from school, from Kingston Technical High School, and left 82 and Nova Street as we all do, and come down to East Queen Street, and go over on the left-hand side, we gated there, Central on the other side, and we are walk. I remember them used to have a upstairs. I don't know if you remember, upstairs where music used to play, and when you walk past, look before you reach Mark Lane, you can see, you can hear the music, and you see the people them at the club upstairs are dance and things. Like dance from early in the afternoon.
A barber shop
and they must do the reggae dance. We forget the name of the club there, you know.
May I ask if a barber shop the dance and it?
No, me not call Jones Barber Shop.
No.
Maybe a barber shop was underneath it, but it's not where Jones is there. Yeah. Look further on, look before you reach Mark Lane. Upstairs, you know them club when you look, you can see it is exposed up top.
Yeah, me don't know.
And you have some railings. Next September, because it's September 1968 that the reggae dance just bust out where the people them imitate the organ shuffle when Jackie Mittu come with. And remember when me walk past coming from Kingston Technical there, me I hear the Babandi, let them say, and to experience, the Larry and Alvin, Nanny Goat, and the Cables, the Baby Y. You know, me remember that. And big up to my brethren, Roddy, from out of Windward Road, who him first tell me, say, them have a new dance, you know, the reggae, you know. I say, let's go. And him show me, you know. So big up Roddy from O'Connor out of Jackson Road at the time there, and Windward Road near Holy Rose, the church. I want to big up all of the man them from Central Kingston, you know. Cool Wax, Eva, and Percy from James Street, singer and songwriter Jackie Paris, Sensations. Feel where you used to live a big yard, 60 man, Wild Man Street.
We in contact with Jackie Paris.
We talked to him just a couple days ago, man. Jackie, I'm a brethren, man. James Street, Sensations Group. You know, them tune there. You know, for real. And big up to Raymond from Wild Street, you know, the Dunkirk, you know, the Dust.
Give thanks. What for move?
Yes, give thanks. Blessed love. See, Irish.
It is the cutting edge on RFM. Before I forget, very disturbing video. Brian, before I left here, in the 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, nearly 1 o'clock. In the 10, I wonder if there's a war against women, specifically. Like, when I say women, now we're talking about young girls, big women. It's like, is there a war against women go on? Because Brian showed me a video earlier on in the night where apparently a woman ride a bike on Manley Highway and a policeman lick her with the car. And the woman drop on the road. If you ever see the policeman angle the woman in a rasta. I know the weirdest thing, that, like all me, I know, if me did them would have jumped in that time, would have shoot me. But I couldn't really stand up there and watch that go on and just not do nothing about it, you know. If you ever see how the man angle the woman on the ground, so me know, at Tomorrow News that again, you know. Tomorrow News. At Tomorrow News that. And him dip on the video. The thing with these things nowadays, which is wonderful, is that right as it happened, you can video it as evidence, as proof. The man angle the woman on the ground, draw and try against the siding where them use and separate the road there, the concrete thing where them use separate the road, and no rasta. Rough. I tell you, so we are internalize the pain and the suffering and the wickedness and the cruelty and unleash it by myself. Yeah, man. Unleash it by myself. Terrible, terrible, terrible. I wonder what will be the news tomorrow when people wake up and see this video here, circulate on Mandela Highway. The policeman, I can't tell me here. Apparently, the policeman must say a speed and a siren, and the woman a ride come on, and him touch the woman bike and drop her on the ground. The man draw her and fling her. Me I tell you, Rasta. Police, watch what they're doing now. How they will continue them way there and expect people to no ball out say informer for dead. How they will continue that way there when you don't expect the people to say I'm blind and ear and deaf, Rasta. Because if you cannot treat a woman up on the ground, I mean a woman up on the ground, you draw her up on the ground, you know, Rasta. Where them people come from? Where them people come from, Rasta? So where am tomorrow now when the whole Jamaica wake up and see that now? And all them prime minister people and things. Crime. I tell you. No, if me did out there, they would have shoot me. If me did out there, they would have shoot me, Rasta. I tell you, you know your motor get shot. What them call it, when them say, yeah, when police are trying to do work, you're going involved in them work. No, Papa. You have lawless people over there, so without uniform, and do things to people, terrible things, and the people them who supposed to uphold the law over here, so I do the people them terrible things. So where the people them must turn? Where the people them must turn? Me don't know. It's a terrible thing. It's a terrible, terrible thing. Yes, ill.
Good night, Muta.
Good night.
Pleasant night to you. You know, I must congratulate you on the wonderful work you're doing.
You talk?
Yes, because all these years, I talked to you already, but I never called your program. And you're doing a powerful job. And I wish a lot of people could really take time out to listen, because that is how you learn. Your body and the remains they find.
No, yeah, this are the one, yeah, the one that we are talking about now. I said, since that happened,
yes,
there's 3 more women Yesterday and the day before happening now.
Me hear you talking about them from night. Me hear from night. I'm here listening, because I can't sleep at night time when you are on the program, you know.
But the one in Manchester, you're the one in Manchester.
With the lady that the killer's son.
Eh?
The one with the son and she.
Yeah, a man look like him is a deacon or something like that. Him cut her and put her in a one cooler, in a one, what them call that something there again? When you go out and you put people in there.
Oh yes, a cooler then call it, man.
Yeah, a big one.
A cooler then call it.
And then the next one, you have a next one to what happen with but I can't remember that. I mean, it's terrible.
It's disgusting, man. It's really disgusting. And as you were saying a while ago, that I didn't have something against women. Because you were mentioning something about police again.
Yeah, the police on Mandela Highway. The woman apparently the woman arrived and him a come on. And he touched the woman bicycle and she drop off, you know. And the woman, it look like him vexed through. Him did that go and the woman go stop him now. The man draw the woman on the ground and against the side, you know.
No, there was something to laugh over, you know, but they tell you, something have to wonder if these people are in the right mind.
They couldn't in a right mind, man. A wrong mind, that man. Nobody can do that, man. I mean, it's vicious, man. Vicious. So you can't man. Woman on the ground, so. You can just imagine when him find all a little youth where him feels that do something and really not do nothing. What would I do?
Yes, because there's no humanity, you know, the heart of love, God, you know, God. You know that too.
God, man, vicious.
The love that did that again.
Vicious.
You understand? And these people, they just do things and they don't think.
Yeah.
You understand?
When the minister of national security see this thing here, right away, I mean, like, this is something else, man. This is something else, bro, sister. Something else. Terrible.
Jesus, God. Well, I want to know, but something has to be done. And do you know the law? You know, and when one day there's a law for all of this, because these things keep happening over and over again. And if there was a penalty, talking about a stick penalty for all of these things, it will continue in the motor.
Yeah.
It will continue. It become a norm. Somebody do as they like because they know that they can just go lock them up and then come back out and then get a lawyer and that's where it stop.
Yeah. And police can't do things.
Things can't go against the man.
Anyway, you thank sister for call.
Yes, Mika. So you take good care of yourself.
Yes.
You understand? You take good care of yourself because I tell you so the vampire them out there, you know.
I tell you, man.
The vampire them will suck out your blood, me I tell you. I won't tell you stand up here right, you know. Yeah. Every day we pray for you in the motor.
Well, go and pray.
We pray for me and see God guide you continuously because me I tell you, say, when you speak out like that, nobody like you. Me and the man catch up a couple months back over here, you know.
Eh?
Yes.
Where am I say that?
The man say not like you because you're too biased. So me say, listen, man, if you don't listen, you're going to learn. If you listen to what the man say and try to help yourself and read for yourself and try to understand and look into what the man say, you can't just tear the man down. Yeah. But you know, some of us are very ignorant, you know? Yeah. And before we take time out to listen and learn, we take time out to tear them on one another. And that is the norm now. You understand? Once you have gone in the right direction, that is how they are, they tear it out. You understand? But you know, I love seeing you, you know?
Yeah, I read.
Take good care now, Muta. All the best now. Have a great night.
I read.
Yo, Mutabaruka.
I read.
Blessed love, Muta. So much things going on at this moment. We're to start.
Yeah.
But, as I say, keep up the wonderful work, but you're here for it. I have to always listen to the man. God, the man, keep I and I seeing certain way, and make I and I know that there's hope, you know?
Yeah.
There's too much people in the system think that there's no hope. Because we have an educational system where we work exactly the way they want it to work. You understand? And So we change as African people in this Jamaica, we have to change the educational system for us. Change the education system for us, because we are educate the people so everybody want to leave Jamaica.
Yeah.
You notice that everybody at check want to leave Jamaica. All police want to leave Jamaica.
And some of them are jump out of fire and are jump in a fire too.
Yeah, I don't understand it. And at the same time, the people is not understanding that when you come to these places, the people don't like us here.
No, that means some of them are jump out of frying pan and are jump in a fire.
And them don't understand that. And you know what? You see what I'm telling you for them motor. You see when some of them go to Obama and left Jamaica, left all the Mocha Jamaica and come a fire. They're not telling the people, they're not telling the truth, you know. So then paint a picture like say things rosy and then the next one do the same thing, and when him jump into the same thing and then talk the truth.
No.
Because of that. You understand? Because a whole heap of people in Jamaica that come afar and come live subpar life worse than what they used to do by Jamaica.
Watch a man. Me know some of my brethren, them, a whole heap of my brethren, them well want to come back to Jamaica. Well, see how them did go there in the beginning. Them go there and can't come up because they don't have no passport again. The passport expires. Or some criminal activity reach them and them start have family over there. And the family broke up. All that of madness are going. Them want to come back and can't come back. Them get old. It's like them in a jail.
And then them think they know. I don't think they destroy all little society. Because watch you know, a man there Jamaica. And he knows they are linked to go far and he just goes up and call somebody from the old one. So he get a link to go far and they can't come watch and pick me. So then the thing just deteriorate and then will destroy the community because the person was supposed to hold something together. Gone. You understand? So them are going to look better. And the better is not really there. And the thing we not understand is not for our little Jamaican people. We just keep it like we're not watching people news and see what's going on. Not for them they never watch news in a motor.
No, sir.
Them don't watch no news all them and then they on them social media all them I do is just see this entertainment and this Kardashian and these
dancehall, this and dancehall that.
And dancehall, a daggering and then idiot thing there. All little police, then we see I go out them thing there and move that. No, they don't understand enough. They don't understand because me have police people here tell me so them just want to let Jamaica for better themselves a fire.
Yeah.
And come at Jamaica and I come do some things where I come and then when you say you do a foreign, you work. Any work where you do a foreign. To make the money, you have to work. If you have the same work at Jamaica, you have to come here to work harder to make a money.
Yeah, so you work harder. Man.
Because I got watching dollar.
Some of them Jamaican up, they have 3 work a day.
And at that, you tell them and them do that, understand that. You know what I mean? But the next problem with me, I live another man's dream. Because you see a next man have 2 and 3 car or whatever then, for argument's sake. You don't know what the man they're doing. Yeah. Sometimes the man they're not be honest with you and tell you what they do.
Yeah.
But you have it and you don't know it. So you live the man the dream. So that destroy the people.
Yeah, nobody know how to simplify their life. Yeah, man. You live somebody else's dream.
You know what I mean? Nobody wants to simplify their life.
Yeah.
And that destroy, but we have a system that destroy the place, motor. Because I tell you, say, motor, I'm there in foreign here, and we have a little sister in Jamaica where her head, you know what I mean, her head upon her, and nobody not there for deal with her. We have one brother there, but somebody can't hold her. We call them a call her 30 from the other day, and you know, them, yesterday them come and take her and my brother care and them care a little light dose of medication. I pay trouble like it. People have seen me. But the thing is, we have to find people in Jamaica where love Jamaica most or want the society better. Because we can make Jamaica better and we live a decent life at Jamaica more than we come and find, come and do some things where we don't want to do. And you know what I mean? Because some people come and foreign, come and struggle with that. People come and foreign, come and do some things and everything. And then they take picture and put on social media like them and live large. Yeah, I know that. Them thing they don't move. You see, if you rate your same way, you alone me attack certain things. And you see, Donald Trump tries to up with attack about South Africa. If you rate you have the underbridge on here and lip certain things. I have to respect you. I have to respect Kabuto. You know what I mean? If you don't respect.
We have to move.
But we have to big up all of these Kingston. Fireball, you laugh, star, everybody, I love her, honey. Big up yourself.
I will never tell you, say, by downtown Kingston, light up again, I mean, any given time, long a Victoria Pier there, them refurbish the Victoria Pier, and enough excitement at night time. Well, say, as of this Sunday we are come, we are going up there, we are going up on the top floor. Ska, rock steady, reggae, all-time dancehall music, you name it, we are going to play it, Jamaican style. So, we are telling one them, this Sunday we are going to start Rhythm Sundays, right up on the pier. We don't even want to call it Victoria Pier. It's just amazing that when me a youth, me used to dive up money down there. Yes, we used to skull school, and when the tourists them come and throw the money. But them days you could have see the money run right down at the bottom of the water. When you touch the water, you just dive in. Merkel Bank, the building, when we see I going up there, we used to the government, some government building, I go build it, so couple building well. Sunday we down there, well not long a Victoria Pier, but Herbie Miller, the reggae museum there. Them a play vintage, ska and rock steady. You have a place down there named the Swiss bar there where me never ever know say that there so. Whole heap of youth in there and enough niceness are going inside there. So well we are going to help with the niceness now. We're gone, so we used to there West Street, where we're gone more long now. Where the excitement they're right down in the heart, you can't go no further. Top floor. Them call it Ocean 7. Downtown nice again. So we just make the people them know that from this Sunday and every Sunday we are going down there. And if we not down there, we get somebody to play them too. Okay. Music like this. For those who know the music, we're going to start, we're going to venture in all of the music them with Jamaican make. All of them. Whether it's soul, whether it's disco, whether it's ska, rock steady, all of them. All of them. Vintage style. Them call it throwback. Like this. Related birthday to Bersaman, man. May I tell you? Victoria Pier. Sunday. We call it Rhythm Sundays. As of Sunday, yeah, man. Yeah.
Muta?
Oh, you know, man. You call back. I bet you Baba Brooks make you call back. Where they? You got? Where they, man, Dingo?
Yeah, no, me just say celebrate. Celebrate our favorite singer, Alton Ellis' 80th birthday anniversary this Saturday, the 1st of September.
I picture there Jamaica, man, to come down at the pier if you see where I go on down there, man. The place look different from where you live here.
No, me get some pictures, man. Percy, my brethren from James Street send me, man. It look crisp. And hear what? No Victoria Pier. Marcus Garvey Pier it name.
I want to tell you,
Marcus Garvey Pier it name.
No, wait, no, I can tell you something. You see when, you see which part we are going to play? Go up on the step. There is a big, them blow up a big picture of Marcus Garvey when he did come off of the boat. And the people,
yeah, when them deport him.
Yeah, and the brethren put a big picture of him there, so say, yes, we don't really want to call it the Victoria Pier, but that them have panic Victoria Pier, but...
We Africans, me and you and thing, a Marcus Garvey Pier it name, and it's official with the name on a plaque and thing. Marcus Garvey Pier, no Victoria. Miss Victoria.
You know
none of that.
You know them are unveil a statue of Miss Louise Bennett up Garden Town, right at the square. Them a put a mark.
Yeah, man. Yeah, where she used to live.
You hear about it? You hear about it?
Yes.
Yeah, them a unveil a statue up there. I think on the 7th of September.
That is good. But you know, a lot of people don't know this. But for many years, she grew up as a girl living in Spanish Town, you know, near to the courthouse, you know. Yeah. Her father did have a business and her mother was a dressmaker and thing, Louise Bennett. Yeah, man. So she deserved that without a doubt, more than deserved. But Marcus Garvey Pier.
Right,
and
son.
Keep promoting that to Muta. Marcus Garvey Pier. No Victoria. And my father Earthstrong on the 4th of September too. And Marcus Garvey Jr. birthday too. Is in this September too. Our Marcus Garvey Jr. From Kingston Technical.
All right, sir. So when you can, if you're there at Jamaica, meet you down at the pier. All right?
No, definitely. I'm going to go and play some tune down at the pier to meet and play some tune.
Yo. Here we are, I don't know. I don't know. Discography and lecture thing, you know, party thing we are dealing with. Party.
Yes, they're no party, man. They're not a DJ. Sound system DJ.
No, I don't say a DJ, but you have a way if you talk the history of the song.
No, me do different things to different things. No, you say different thing, man. From that, man, me just make the rhythm them run, man, without no commentary. See?
Right, give thanks, yeah?
Original style. See? Marcus Garvey Pier. So blaze it up Sunday.
Yeah, Muta. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, man. You're there, man. I'm there.
Yeah, but what happens is that the radio going off and coming out of the door. Is the phone or the radio?
The what?
I don't know if it's the phone or the radio going off and coming on sometimes.
No, I don't know. But may I hear you good?
Well, yeah, me good. All right, Muta, yeah, me while you're listening. You remember Sunday when you come down on Marcus Garvey celebration, eh?
Yeah.
I was the person that said that I have the formula, right?
Formula,
you remember that?
Formula for what?
For the thing where we are going with the African in Jamaica nowadays.
What is the formula for what? Tell me. What going on Jamaica with the African then?
Where the African them go through all these struggling and all these killing and all them things.
All right, so what is the formula you have to stop it?
Listen, you know, you listen to you.
I listen you, man, but we don't have much time because the program so done. So I tell you, what is the formula you have?
That's what I want to say. But here and just do this thing and just end it just as on a one program. Or it's a continuous thing. I deal with one build a foundation, begin to build a foundation, okay, to liberate the African in Jamaica. You understand?
Yeah.
Because I want to ask you this question, Muta.
No, tell me what is the formula where you say you have?
Then me not tell you say I know just something for me just step on the radio.
But you just can't tell me say you have the formula, so where
yes, but we have to work on it, we have to get Muta, more sit down and...
But how me going to know me work on it, where I work? What is the formula where you talk about? You say a formula, you know, you have a formula, so me ask you what is the formula?
You get rid of the crime and the situation.
Oh, you going to get rid of that? Oh, you going to get rid of the crime?
They listen, if you just give
them not listen, I listen. Yeah, but you don't have much time. All right, go on, talk.
But that's what I say now. You see, this thing, even when me come with, even better than music, because we have music here so long, right? We all know about music, but we don't know about this thing what I'm coming with.
All right, so what is the thing where you're coming?
Highlighting these things to the African, them.
Like what you not, them not highlighting, and you going to highlight it, what?
Firstly, listen me now. Can you tell me what the meaning of democracy?
No, look here. Don't ask me no question. Just tell me what is the formula where you have. Yeah.
Democracy mean, you see?
Yeah.
Mark them daily.
Yeah.
And you just said a while ago how the policeman do the woman on the road, right?
Yeah, but that's a damn foolishness you talk. That's not the meaning of democracy. That is not the meaning of democracy.
Every day.
That is not the meaning of democracy, but I want to know the formula where you have. Where you tell me say you have for free black people, don't have to figure them stop the crime. Don't tell me about the meaning of democracy. Yeah.
I'm beginning from when Marcus Garvey left it, man. Because a lot of us only doing the talk and not doing the work, man. If we don't do the work this time, we are going to do, man. You understand what I say?
No, me not understand what you say.
We want to do the work, more walking. Because we are late We are backward by far. You understand me? You see me I say? That's why we come together and have a meeting and discuss how we have to go forward. Because there is a way forward, but nobody not highlighting it.
So highlight it now, Bridget. Let me hear where I say, man. Highlight it.
Then that me assure you now, listen how we are going to do now. We have to print up some flyers and things and send on to the people them that benefit. Some of the African them can't read the English language, you know that.
Then we not do it on the radio, yes, so man. We not print no flyer. We
no,
do it on the
but
radio.
What I'm saying to you is, listen now, you see these people that listen on the radio, you see those people that making the difference, they're not listening. So
you know them not listen. You know them not. Trust me, them are listen. Them are listen, Bridget. Them are listen.
You see the GLT and the PNP now start to campaign.
Look here, you not tell me the formula.
Just listen me now.
No, but we have to listen.
If we not reason straight, then I'll get.
No, but me no want to reason with your Bridget because you not tell me what you come call tell me about. You tell me so you carry me gone over this and over
this. The liberation of the African people in Jamaica me talk about, man.
Look here.
But if you have to get a hearing out of it.
No, you know. You see the hearing where you want. I know right, so you have to get it, you know. Maybe you have to go you have to go pay for some time on the radio station and have your own little program for 15 minutes and 20 minutes.
Right. You know, them things them want to get from the eye, them.
No. You have to go call the marketing department and book the time and just come in and do your little half-hour program. I just saw.
Oh, all right.
Yes. All right, sir. Yeah, me have to move.
All right, Muta.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, Muta.
Yes, sir.
Greetings. So, we'll call because I have a few topics that more.
Yeah, but you see the few topics now go work now them over the night time.
No, I make it quick, man. Because we don't wait for a good one, so I have to be considerate of other people's time. Right. So, one of them is, I came across a video last week where white people are literally putting on cosmetic masks of black people perpetrating and carrying out criminal actions. You aware of that?
No, which country them are that?
In America, man. In America, there's this conspiracy now that the reason why there's such a high surge of black people killings is because there's a possibility that some white police had put on the cosmetic mask to carry out these criminal actions. You know.
Okay, but them not put on masks to do that. Them not kill black people every day and the police. Them not have to do that.
The thing is, black people have gone through so much that I'm surprised. I was really surprised that they might even do this now for freeing the black man. In one of the cases, a black man was wrongfully targeted as the criminal who robbed a bank, only to know that the person who did it, his mom contacted the police authorities and reported it. Because she was the one that she recognized the mask and everything, since she was the one that purchased it for her son. Alright, so the next other question is Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa. I'm trying to find out what is Julius Malema, like what position does he hold? Because I thought he was the rightful leader of South Africa.
No, I mean our next party we are look for him a try boost up film party as the one who deal with land reform and really reclaiming the land for black people. So him have a very youthful following. Especially on Sweet on them place there. A whole heap of youth like what I say. To take back the land and them see up there. And the government is willing to still, you know. Because them can't really go on like say, you know, exist again where you have to reclaim forward the land. So Malema is one of the biggest voice for that. Reclaiming of the land.
Okay, so still not sure the same sentiment as him or what? They're not on the same path. Cyril Ramaphosa, is he going to be running for re-election or something?
I don't know. But I just know, say, everybody have to jump on the boat now because it's something where everybody in South Africa, especially the youth, them take it serious. Say land, you know, buy and sell is very important right now.
You know, history has shown that during the slavery rebellion, this kind of spread like a wildfire, like the Haitian Revolution and the Tappy Rebellion and, you know, across the Caribbean. So I said this is probably going to be a modern day economic rebellion if, you know, becoming the next leader and start to do land appropriation. You don't think other African countries might follow the same path?
I guess so. One would hope that happen because them demonize Mugabe because of that land thing. But don't know it's not going to reach in South Africa, you know, because Mandela never do nothing about it. All him a deal with is political, but the man them I say right now, Mandela business is Mandela business, our business is land business right now.
Yeah. I mean, have it that a lot of people have it that white European countries have intervened, but I kind of beg for opposed to that because when they tell me, when you hear you say one time say South Africa is a part of this bloc called the BRICS. So they probably make the right move in this time and age to align themselves with some superpowers.
China and Russia and this there. Yeah, but Australia and them say they will take the whites them, you know. The appropriation of them land. The Australian government say, they will take some white people over there. So we're going to see what happens with that, though. We're going to see what happens.
Yeah, but you know, Trump passed a little threat towards South Africa about this land appropriation. That's why I said, just in case, you know, America tries to intervene, you know.
Yeah, but you want the American thief the land from the Native American, them, you know. Them thief the land. Europe, them come from and come over to come take with the people them land. So them have no argument because them call people alien and them are the biggest alien. Anyway, we have to move, brother. We have to move.
My final point. Recently, we come across some new information. Revelation 22 verse 16, right? Me not religious type of man, but me want proofs to the Christian where them own Bible. So them in that chapter, Jesus asserts himself as the morning star. And me come in my research, I find out that the same title is bestowed on a man named Lucifer. Which in Latin means morning star. So approach a Christian. Approach a Christian Christian and say, wait, isn't that a contradiction? But you don't have no answer to that. So we want to put that out to the Christians. What do you think about that? The old Bible said Jesus himself said it in a quotation there. Revelation 22 verse 16. Anyway, next man I try and also tell him to check out this one named Serapis Christus. So Serapis Christus and Jesus, what they have in common. That is our homework to the Christians.
Read up some things, man. Read up some
things. Yeah, man. A long time I had the ministry then. Research and
give thanks. Yes, so everybody are disturbed. After me forget say a birth of our birthday. I mean I go try to make up feet. Everybody look like everyone disturb birth of our birthday. When I try make up for birth of our birthday. Up here.
Reading
Sunday. Yeah. You coming on? Yeah. No. Look at me good. Me say, you come. Yeah. Your brethren. Yeah. And your mother. Yeah. If you don't bring your mother, nobody coming on. No. I know so Charles, you know. If him not bring you, him can't come. Are you am here too if you come in there? Okay.
Down at the pier, not Victoria.
No, but I would have brother there.
Spotlight.
A spotlight him name?
Shine bright.
A Sam name? Yeah. I don't know if I want him down there. Him can't come in there with the mid ball at your head, Rasta. Oh, he mean to come in there with the mid ball at your head. Oh, that's a terrible thing, man, like that, man. Man, come in there with the head ball and I'm sure, anyway. You sure? I know axe. Yeah. Okay, so you said, give thanks to the moment at the time and energy. Give thanks, as we say. From Tuesday we are going, so, from Tuesday we're there,
No, man, Monday.
No, man, never there Monday, man. A Monday, eh?
Yeah, man.
No, man, a Tuesday. Me never do Monday. Tuesday me do, and Wednesday. Me do Tuesday, Elise program. Today, Elise program. Tonight, cutting edge. Tomorrow, stepping razor. And again, we're going to come back again. But Sunday, our thing. Yeah, our thing. So, mommy, he might bring you, you know, a long time you want to dance, you know.